As the Eagles training camp is underway and they begin their quest to repeat as champions. According to ESPN Bet, the Eagles are the favorites to win it all again. But Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts is turning the page and not looking to view this as a title defense. Take a listen.
I've moved on. Moved on to the new year. You know, it's as simple as that.
Whatever we did last year, yeah, that's in the rearview mirror, and that doesn't matter anymore. We're not defending nothing. We're not the defending champs. We're the 2024 world champs. That's it. We're not defending. Sorry, we're not. So I don't like hearing like, oh, we're the defending champions. We're not defending nothing. We just won the title, and now we got to go win it again.
Rylotta, animated as always.
Wow.
Harry Douglas, we look to your reaction to those comments.
Number one, I love it, right? To be able to live in the now and move forward, you have to throw away your rearview mirror sometimes. And that's exactly from top to bottom what the Philadelphia Eagles are doing. Rent is due every single day. And there's no reason for the Eagles to live in the past and what they accomplished last season. You had that window, right, to enjoy it, to celebrate it, to be on top of the hill. Now it's on to the 2025 season. But the very first thing for them to be successful this year, what they must do is not feel like they can lean back on everything that happened in 2024. Every single year, Peter, Kevin, K-Mart. Every single season is different.
It is. All right. So
and I'm glad they understand that.
So they're saying all the right things. You look at the Super Bowl matchup, though, and how that went. It was so one-sided. Both teams made some major moves on the roster, and both divisions got significantly better. So, Harry Douglas, which team do you think is more likely to return to the Super Bowl? The Eagles or the Chiefs?
This was a tough one. But I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs. And one of the reasons why I'm going with them is because they have been to 7 straight AFC Championship game appearances. They have played in 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. They still have Andy Reid as their head coach. They still have Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback. They got better on the offensive line. But I love the simple fact that you have Xavier Worthy at the wide receiver position. When you talk about this offense and the non-explosion that they had a season ago, I believe that explosiveness is going to be back within the Kansas City Chiefs.
Why?
Well, Hollywood Brown,
okay,
number one.
The players, or do you think there's an urgency now? Like, hey, this not, or they've changed they might have changed their style. Maybe they're not the explosive team that they used to be.
So, well, I would say this. I do believe when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs and how they were constructed last year, if there were any team that can have 10-plus play drives and go down and do it, it's Kansas City. But you don't want to live in that realm, right? You want those one-hitter quitters or those 5-play drives or those 4-play drives where everything isn't methodical and you have to feel like you're pulling an arm and leg to be able to get into the end zone. Now, also with that being said, Kansas City wasn't the best red zone football team. So if you have that explosiveness to your game now, you're getting in the end zone a lot more than you did last season, in my opinion. But Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, those are 2 guys that can take the top off the defense.
What do you think?
I want to start by addressing Jalen Hurts' comments, okay? You can take the guy away from Saban, but you cannot take the Saban away from the guy, because that's the number one thing Nick Saban does. They win the national championship. He tells everybody to leave if you're not going to be back next year. So if you're going pro, if you're a senior, get out of the room. Right after winning the national championship, the first thing he says is, this team has accomplished nothing. This is a new team. You've accomplished nothing. Jalen Hurts had to leave Alabama, but boy, he's living the Alabama ethos. For me, though, the Eagles are going to have an easier path to the Super Bowl. First of all, they have a better roster, deeper roster. And you look at the AFC, it is a gauntlet. You got final boss after final boss, like in the video games where you have Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. You have that division that is getting better basically seemingly by the day. There are no easy outs in that division. I think the Broncos have an incredible roster. I think we're going to talk about them a little bit later. I just see a harder path. You mentioned, Harry, the AFC title games. I really do believe that I didn't think when I saw Brady and Belichick treat the AFC title game as a floor, I didn't think we were going to see that ever again. And then it immediately happened again. It was incredible to see another team develop like that. But once they get to the AFC title game, and I believe they will, you're going to have a tougher road than anything the Eagles have.
Hey, Mark?
So, as I check in on Justin Fields, so what I find most interesting about the Eagles, I do think the Eagles have a better chance of returning to the Super Bowl. But what I found interesting about those comments was, take it back to the 2023 season. The fact that they went to the Super Bowl, they lost to the Chiefs, but then they came back, and you're thinking this is a team set up to go right back deep in the playoffs, and then they get embarrassed by the Bucs, and you're like, what is happening in Philly? I think the comments from yesterday kind of actually have more to do with the disappointment of that 2023 season, where they realized just because you get to the Super Bowl doesn't guarantee that you even get back to the playoffs or you advance deep in the playoffs. And the losing, they hate that more than winning. That was what when I watched Devontae Smith in the aftermath of the Super Bowl. These
They
guys
hate the losing more than they love the winning.
Right. And it just feels like with this team, they understand. I love the comments because they understand that in that division, everybody's better. And this team, they have lost a coordinator. They got to do it again. And I think even watching The Last Dance recently with Michael Jordan, he felt relief, more so than joy about winning the two three-peats, because the expectation is this, and you want to make sure that you hit it again.
It's a great point. And
Scotty Scheffler the other day said the euphoria of winning a huge golf tournament lasts a couple of minutes, which I found extremely fascinating. And that's how all of the greats, whether it's Scotty Scheffler or the Philadelphia Eagles, are able to go on to the next one.
Now,
Absolutely.
Peter, give me the opportunity to
rebut?
counter Mr.
Sure,
Kevin Clark
please.
Here. Now, you talked about that AFC and
Yeah.
how it's a gauntlet. Oh, my gosh. You done shook the table. The last time I checked, as you mentioned, Josh Allen and also Lamar Jackson,
Joe Burrow.
Patrick Mahomes is 5-0 versus those two quarterbacks in a playoff setting.
I agree.
Every single year we come up here and we say, man, this is the most vulnerable the Kansas City Chiefs have ever been. And damn near every single year they end up in the Super Bowl. So I don't care how hard the AFC as a conference is. See, when things happen over and over again, especially like they do for the Kansas City Chiefs, it's not by mistake.
They were favored in the Super Bowl. They got their butts kicked.
I agree with that.
I thank you, Peter. But let me ask you a question.
But we were talking about the AFC.
Right, but let me ask you a question, Harry.
Does that not look like they look a little bit vulnerable right now after that? The last time we seen them getting,
And we're Chiefs. We love the Chiefs.
See, my mom is very religious. Looks can be deceiving, baby.
okay.
Looks can be very deceiving. Because
learning
as
a
they
lot
look to
about-
be vulnerable,
We're learning a lot about this
learning a
family.
lot about the Harry Douglas family.
Coaching matters. It really does.
Okay, so would you agree? Let's start here. That there are more questions about the Chiefs than there have been at any point in the Mahomes-Reid era. When you talk about, you mentioned the deep ball, how it has to come back.
Offensive line,
obviously getting retooled. Hopefully Josh Simmons is healthy and they're able to fix that immediately. Okay, Joe Tooney is gone, although he's not playing out of position this year, so that's an important part of it. Last year, Mahomes is at his best, truly, when he's either getting rid of the ball really quickly or he's holding on to the ball and making magic happen, okay? His first 2 years as a starter, he was by far the best quarterback in the NFL when he held on to the ball for 2.5 seconds. Why? Because either Travis Kelce was sitting down in the zone and was going to be wide open 18 yards down the field for 20 more yards after catch, or Tyreek Hill took the top off the defense and he was able to kind of sling it out. We've seen it a million times, right? He wasn't even in the top 20 last year when he held on to the ball for 2.5 seconds. He's not creating that level of magic right now. Do I believe he will again? Of course he will. I did the
Well, it's funny you mentioned those numbers because the last time I checked, they still made the Super Bowl.
I agree with you, but what I'm saying is, do you think they have the most amount of questions that they've had in this?
Kevin, they went 17-1.
I know. I'm talking about
Kevin,
the 2025 team.
What I've learned about the
Mahomes
Kansas City Chiefs, though, you can have your list of questions all you
It
want to.
doesn't sound like you love them,
They
Kevin.
found it.
Harry Douglas
They
is picking
find a way to
Wait
get
a
it
second.
done.
Harry Douglas is picking the Broncos to win the division.
I know.
You know what we do to rats? You up here? Why are you bringing that into the conversation?
I was going to say it. I was going to say it, and I was like, I'll just let him.
No, but to Harry's defense on that, the Broncos have gotten significantly better, the Raiders have gotten significantly better, and the Chargers finally, Chargers are you going to be any good this year? Is this going to be the year, Chargers? That is what I'm looking at. And that this AFC West, those 6 games are not a cakewalk.
I don't like being. I am pro Chiefs. When I did the quarterback tiers last week, Mahomes was on a tier by himself. He was the Terminator.
It's not about you or Harry or anyone.
I know, but what I'm saying is that the reason you picked the Broncos to win the division is because there are questions about the Chiefs. It's fair to say that.
They told me that they going on the road this season. It's not going to happen. They won at Buffalo, won at Baltimore.